If you think you've heard every true crime mystery, think again. This one has no clear answers. Only strange clues, chilling discoveries, and questions that haunt investigators to this day. The Yuba County 5 case isn't just unsolved, it's bizarre. In February 1978, 5 young men from Yuba City, California, set out for a basketball game, but never came home. Days later, their car was found abandoned in the snowy mountains. Doors unlocked, keys missing, and no sign of the men. What followed is one of the most perplexing missing person cases in American history. A chilling mystery forever known as the Yuba County 5. The 5 men were friends brought together by a shared love of sports and community programs. There was 30-year-old Ted Wire, the gentle giant of the group, friendly, kind, but living with a mild intellectual disability. Jack Madruga, 30, was a quiet, dependable man, a U.S. Army veteran who loved driving his turquoise Mercury Montego. His close friend Bill Sterling, 29, was deeply religious, often spending hours volunteering at local hospitals. Jack Hewitt, just 24, was the youngest. Playful, full of energy, and always smiling. And then there was Gary Mathias, 25, a former Army serviceman who had struggled with schizophrenia, but was managing his condition and staying close to his friends. On February 24, 1978, the group piled into Madruga's Montego and set off from Yuba City toward Chico, California. Their plan? Watch a college basketball game, then return home. It was supposed to be an ordinary night, the kind they'd done many times before. But sometime after that game, something happened. Something that would take them far off course into the freezing wilderness of the Plumas National Forest. And no one can say why. 2 days after the basketball game, the family started to worry. None of the men had returned home, and for these 5, that was unusual. On February 28th, 4 days later, deputies found something strange. Jack Madruga's turquoise 1969 Mercury Montego, sitting abandoned on a remote snow-covered dirt road in the Plumas National Forest. The car wasn't stuck, it wasn't broken down. In fact, the keys were missing, but the fuel tank was 1/4 full. Tire tracks showed no sign of frantic turning or skidding. It had simply been driven there, then left behind. Even stranger, the spot was miles off their expected route home. To get there, they would have had to climb over mountains and wind through narrow forest roads in the dead of night, with no clear reason. Inside, investigators found programs from the basketball game, neatly folded maps, and some snack wrappers. But no coats, no heavy winter gear, and no sign of the men themselves. It was bitter cold that night. Temperatures dropped well below freezing. Without shelter or supplies, anyone out here would be in danger within hours. Search teams combed the surrounding forest for days, on snowshoes and helicopters, even using scent-tracking dogs. But the mountains gave nothing back. It was as if the men had vanished into the snow. For months, the mystery deepened. The mountains kept their secrets, until June 4th, nearly 5 months after the disappearance. A small group of motorcyclists, riding through a remote area of the Plumas National Forest, came across something unexpected. A Forest Service trailer. Inside and was horror. On a bed under 8 sheets of blankets lay the body of Ted Wire. He had starved to death. His beard was grown out to an estimated 13 weeks, meaning he had survived for months after the group vanished. The trailer itself wasn't locked. Inside there were unopened cans of food, a working propane heater, and enough supplies to survive the winter. Yet the food remained untouched, and Wire had slowly wasted away. In a nearby shed, searchers found a locker filled with dehydrated rations, also untouched, and there was no sign of the other 4 men. Weeks later, searchers discovered the remains of Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling, partially consumed by animals, just a few miles from the trailer, as if they'd tried to walk for help. A little further away, scattered bones belonging to Jack Hewitt were found, but Gary Mathias just was never found at all. Only his shoes lay in the trailer, suggesting he had been there, and then left for reasons unknown. So what happened to the Yuba County 5? Investigators have pieced together possibilities, but none explain every detail. Theory 1. They got lost and froze. The simplest explanation is that the group took a wrong turn into the mountains after the basketball game. Their car got stuck and they tried to survive. But that doesn't explain why they drove so far off their route, why they abandoned a working vehicle, or why the trailer's food and heater weren't used. Theory 2. An accident or injury forced them to seek help. Some suggest one of the men, perhaps Gary Mathias, who had schizophrenia but was stable on medication, suffered a mental or physical crisis. The group might have panicked and headed for the trailer in confusion, but the supplies were never touched, and the distances covered in snow would have been brutal without proper gear. Theory 3. They were chased. Some believe they fled into the wilderness to escape someone or something that was following them. This could explain the odd route and why they abandoned food and warmth, but no suspects, tracks, or evidence of pursuit were ever found. Theory 4. Foul play in the mountains. A more sinister idea is that they encountered someone dangerous in that remote area. Perhaps they were forced to leave their car, split up, and hide. But why would Wire be left alive in the trailer for months with food untouched? Theory 5. Something we can't explain. This is the theory that keeps people awake, that something happened in those mountains that defies logic. Something that caused 5 grown men in good health to abandon safety, walk into snow without reason, and make choices that led to their deaths, and one of them vanishing forever. Decades have passed, but the Yuba County 5 mystery still refuses to give up its secrets. 4 families buried their sons without truly knowing why they died. One family still waits for answers about Gary Mathias, whose fate remains unknown. Every piece of evidence in this case seems to raise more questions than it answers. Why did they drive into the mountains? Why abandon a car that worked? Why leave food untouched while starving? And what happened to Gary? Until those questions are answered, the case of the Yuba County 5 will remain one of America's strangest mysteries, where every clue seems to point in the wrong direction. Maybe the truth is still out there, hidden under the snow, in the mountains, or in someone's memory. If you found this case as strange as I did, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you want more mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Until then, stay curious.